The rookies have arrived to camp, as today was day one of rookie mini camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. Today we will go over some of the comments as the rookies have taken the podium and also taken the field. But before we do get into any of that, please be sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. This is how fast the season moves. These rookies were just drafted last week, and today is day one of rookie mini camp, and the Kansas City Chiefs, their facility was ready to go more than ever as they got a nice fresh new paint job saying Super Bowl champions and adding the third year for their Super Bowl championship, and it looks very, very nice, clean, and ready to go, and has some room for a fourth. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs strive to do. What we're going to do today, it's day one. So the rookies taking the podium, we're going to go over some of their comments, and they have taken the field. We're going to see who was the star of day one, and we're just going to get our heads all wrapped around that. But before we do get into that, since they are rookies, we got new rookie jersey numbers, and we're going to get right to that right now. And I didn't remember this off the top of the dome, so I'm going to look at my phone. We're going to go to the breakdown of every single draft pick, and let's get it. We're going to start with Felix Anudike-Uzomah. He will be number 97. Rashee Rice will be number 4. Wanya Morris will be number 64. Chamari Connors will be 27. BJ Thompson will be 53. Kendrick Coburn will be 99. Colin Saunders' former number. And then Nick Jones will have Priest Holmes' number at 31. Those jerseys are going to look fresh. They going to look fire. And these rookies are going to be ready to go. Now let's get to what they had to say today after day one. Now, we're going to start this rookie mini camp off with the number one guy, the Kansas City Chiefs first round pick, in Felix Anudike-Uzomah. And as Chiefs Kingdom knows, Felix Anudike-Uzomah is a hometown guy. It's a hometown story, and it seems like he's trying to get his fairy tale ending. But he knows this was no short of ending, and this isn't given to him as well. He loves how it's playing out, and it's a dream come true, but he's acting like he hasn't even made the team yet, and he knows he has to work and earn everything, and that this is just the beginning. And I love that type of attitude coming in, because sometimes you get first-round picks who come in and be like, okay, ready to go, this is my spot, and I ain't gonna lose it. And that's the wrong mentality to come in with. And you have Chiefs Kingdom already coming at him because they feel like maybe the Kansas City Chiefs wouldn't have drafted Uzomah if he wasn't a hometown guy, and maybe they would have looked at a different pass rusher. And you best believe that Felix Anudike-Uzomah hears all that chatter already. So he wants to prove a lot of doubters wrong, and analysts as well, because a lot of them had him as a second-round pick. But we also got to focus on the Kansas City Chiefs had the last pick in the first round. That's damn near a second-round pick. So best believe Felix Anudike-Uzomah was worth the pick, and I believe he's going to be worth the hype that the Kansas City Chiefs believe in as well. Chiefs Kingdom, you asked for a pass rusher. Brett Veach delivered. I think at the end of the day, if Felix Anudike-Uzomah puts up the similar numbers that George Karlaftis put in year one, which was around 5.5, 6 sacks, I think that's a win. Rookie seasons under Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, we learn it's a growing year. It's time to develop. You're never really going to see a rookie explode onto the scene. That's when year 2, year 3 comes. This is the time we look at George Karlaftis, Sky Moore, time to step up. It's what will these rookies provide this year. And I honestly think Uzomah, he might be more impactful right away than George Karlaftis. I don't know. I just like how he fits. And also, I think one thing that may go against him is his age, but at the same time, it may be beneficial. He has a lot of similar traits like Karlaftis, where it's a relentless motor, they are bullies, and they just try to get after the quarterback. And he's going to be fun to watch in camp and in preseason. But as we talk about watching him in camp and in preseason, he didn't take the field today. What looked like he had a wrapped up wrist, and according to reports was that he did break his hand in the Sugar Bowl. So this is a long offseason. Training camp hasn't even started, and preseason hasn't even started as well. So this is nothing to be too concerned about at the moment, because we still got a couple months to go to training camp, which I believe he will be fine too. And honestly, we know when it comes to pass rushers and even offensive linemen too, they wrap that thing up and they use it as a club. I don't think this will be anything to impact Uzomah going forward into the 2023 season, but it's definitely something to have our eyes peeled on during rookie minicamp. I don't know how much action he will get or if he will be involved. Maybe he will just be the guy at press conference and podiums and just picking his head too. And it was also another fun fact where, of course, as I mentioned, he's a hometown guy, and he mentioned one of his favorite players watching as a Kansas City Chief was Jamal Charles. He actually wore 25 in high school. That's how fast time flies. When he was watching Jamal Charles, he was in high school. He actually played running back and wore his numbers. That's very interesting to see, and it shows you what kind of athletic ability Uzomah has. And maybe we've seen Andy Reid put defensive players on the offensive side of the ball. Could Uzomah see a snap? Maybe. It's highly unlikely, but you never know with Coach Reid. His mind is always wide open in that offensive playbook. Now let's focus on our second round pick, wide receiver out of SMU, newly Kansas City Chief, Rashee Rice. And Chiefs Kingdom's going to have their eyes zoned in on Rashee Rice throughout this whole summer because they want their next top wide receiver, and they believe it'll be Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. Their eyes will be zoned in on these players, and it was cool to see Rashee Rice come into the Kansas City Chiefs facility yesterday. He just seemed like a little kid having the Chiefs helmet and just giddy about it, even putting it on. He didn't want to take it off. He was all smiles, and that's just something you love to see with rookies. It's the excitement. It's to show you the appreciation, to show you how much they really, really want to be on a team. As you guys know, I'm a huge Rashee Rice fan, a huge supporter throughout the draft period, and I wanted him to be a Kansas City Chief. And I'm glad he's a Kansas City Chief. And it was exciting to see that, and then also see him on the field today. One thing that surprised me about him being on the field, and I don't know if this is a Coach Reid and Dave Tope thing, but Rashee Rice was returning punts, handling punts at best. And I don't recall ever seeing him do that in college. Kind of similar to what Sky Moore did. Please, let's not do this again. If this is not in Rashee Rice's basically football resume of not returning punts, let's not take that risk again. We have guys like Richie James, Ramihiho, who we have as an undrafted free agent as well. We have punt returners. Let's not put a wide receiver out there and in a position where they might not excel in. Again, I know with these skill position players, you're going to put them on special teams and see how they evolve. But also, I'm just a little weary. Definitely from last year as well. Not saying Rashee Rice can't do it, but at the end of the day, I know Chiefs Kingdom is also like, oh, please, let's just get a returner out there. And I feel exactly the same. But as for that, he looked crisp. For someone who's 6'1", he looks bigger than 6'1", not height, but like weight as well. He looks like a physical receiver, and that's the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs got him. They want a guy like Juju out there, and they want a guy who can just body someone. It looks like you can see the transition that Reid is trying to do in this offense. He wants speed, but he wants everything. He wants a well-rounded core at the wide receiver position, and that's what Rashee Rice will be. It may not translate right away in the rookie year, as I mentioned with Felix Anudike-Uzomah, but at the end of the day, he's a piece that the Kansas City Chiefs don't have on this offense, and if he can be right, he can be very, very scary, and he's going to be someone very fun to watch in this offense. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs' third-round pick in Wanya Morris, number 64 now. And he mentioned today that one thing he really wants to focus on during rookie minicamp and going into the summer is just staying in the best shape possible, because he knows that the Kansas City Chiefs offense is one of the highest and fast-moving offenses in the league, and he does not want to get left behind. And also, that's good that he recognizes that early, because we've seen it last year, not specifically with the Kansas City Chiefs, but with rookies who enter the NFL. We see them leaving the field early because they just don't know the pace that hits them. I think it was with Treylon Burks last year where it hits them. It's like, they're like, oh, welcome to the NFL. And Wanya Morris is trying to stay one step ahead of the game. And that's cool to see. And it's going to be cool to see what kind of snaps and position Wanya Morris gets in rookie minicamp and going into training camp. Because now with the addition of Donovan Smith, everything is wide open. Wanya Morris played left tackle. He played right tackle. I believe he will do both in camp, and I believe the Kansas City Chiefs will see where he fits in best. Again, he's a rookie, so we shouldn't anticipate much. But what we should anticipate is that he could be a good, valuable depth piece at the left tackle or right tackle position, and maybe one day he can be a starter. And if it's at the right tackle position, and if Jawan Taylor stays at the left tackle position, he may be a starter sooner than later. I love the raw material that Wanya Morris brings, and it's definitely really, really good potential, and it'd be fun to see how he was back in Tennessee. Wanya Morris and Trey Smith. That duo was really solid in college. I believe they can be a very, very solid duo in the NFL too in the future. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our 4th round pick, Chamari Connors. Today, he took the podium and the field, and he was discussing how he was kind of surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs selected him because he didn't really have any or much discussion with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he was definitely excited, and he was thrilled because he knows what kind of role Steve Spagnuolo can throw at him, and he did that today as well. When Connors took the field, he played strictly safety, but cornerback as well. And that's what's to anticipate. As I told Chiefs Kingdom, and as Chiefs Kingdom is already assuming too, he might be, now I know we're not going to step too far ahead, and I know some Chiefs Kingdom already got me at that, but he can be that L'Jarius Sneed replacement. It's what he does in his rookie year. And honestly, if anyone is going to get a lot of snaps in his rookie year, more than anyone in this class, I'm looking at Chamari Connors, not just on the defensive side of the ball, of course, but on the special teams as well, where he is a great special teams ace. And I believe he will become Dave Tobe's best friend, and he will become Steve Spagnuolo's best friend as well. He's going to be your blitzing cornerback, blitzing safety, going after the quarterbacks and running backs as well. And he plays very well in coverage. And also, if you look last year's pick with Brian Cooks and now Connors, the similarity that what Steve Spagnuolo is doing here, and even what Trent McDuffie is, he's getting hitters. He wants players that are going to be physical on this defense. Now, you may be surprised when I bring Trent McDuffie in here because he's a smaller, stout cornerback. But at the end of the day, Trent McDuffie is no joke. He ain't going to shy down to any man, and he going to leave a hit. Trent McDuffie is a good tackler, definitely for someone his stature as well. It's something you don't expect. But when we got L'Jarius Sneed, tackler. You got Brian Cook, tackler. Justin Reed, thumper. Trent McDuffie, a tackler. And Connor as well. You can see what Steve Spagnuolo is trying to mold in this defense. Whether it be for now or in the future, he has a guy he likes. And it's someone who can be physical. And Connor, he fits that mold. Now, to close off this video, you didn't think I was going to close it off with some key stars for day 1 of rookie minicamp. And what we're going to do here is Pete Sweeney named off a couple guys. So I'm going to read off his tweet and we're just going to dissect it and have fun with it. So let me get my phone out and let's go through this tweet. So Pete Sweeney mentioned today that rookie 7th round cornerback Nick Jones recorded an interception in team. Then linebacker Buddy Johnson had an interception in 7-on-7. And wide receiver Nico Remigio had a catch of the day deep down the sideline. Johnson, Remigio, Anthony Witherstone, Denrick Prince were the standouts today. Now, what to take away from that? There are a couple key names that pop out there, which is B.J. Johnson, linebacker. Now, if it retracts correctly and what I read correctly, he was a former draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a highly talented linebacker too, who I didn't even know was going to rookie minicamp. There's a full list of everyone that showed up to rookie minicamp. I have it on Twitter. I will post it right here as well. It may not be too good visually because there's like, I think 60 names on there, so it's going to be hard to fit on a screen, but you're going to have players from former teams that were drafted last year coming to camps, quarterbacks we have never heard of. This camp's going to be full of a lot of players. It's not just what the Kansas City Chiefs drafted. It's not the undrafted free agents. This is a complete tryout. This is where it gets fun and enticing. So it's cool to see a guy like B.J. Johnson, someone we don't even know, come in, be a star day 1. It's cool to see someone like Nick Jones, 7th round pick, coming to have an interception day 1. And the guy who I believe is going to have a hype train like Justin Ross last year, Denrick Prince, already showing out day 1. Can we please just keep that train in the station? Because I know when it comes July, Chiefs Kingdom's already going to want him to be the number 2 running back and be that double-headed horse with Isaiah Pacheco and just control the run game. I do not know if I'm ready for that hype train, but hey, we got to get aboard sooner or later. And then I think a guy we need to all keep focused on, is cool to see his name, is Nico Remigio from Fresno State. I thought he was going to stand out in special teams, and I think he still will. But to see that he got involved in offense today, to have the catch of the day, is something really, really cool to see. And I think it's so cool to see these rookies come in and already showing out. Rookie minicamp's gonna be fun. It's gonna be 3 days. I'm gonna be here all 3 days giving you guys updates, so you already know what to do. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. Y'all take care. Peace.